In New Zealand, the top 311 households own more combined wealth than the bottom 2.5 million people combined. Yet some politicians, like Winston Peters, a man who makes me want to support a compulsory retirement age, scapegoat immigrants and trans people, so we don't ask too many questions about our leaders' own accumulated wealth. Like our Prime Minister, Christopher Luxon, owning 7 houses before selling 4 of them in 2024 to avoid public scrutiny. Imagine 2 New Zealanders. One earns $70,000 a year from working. The other owns $100 million in houses, shares, and businesses. Now imagine their wealth increases by millions of dollars a year without them earning a traditional salary. Who should pay more tax? That's the question in a growing debate about wealth taxes in New Zealand and around the world. And before you complain, well, why should I pay more taxes? Unless your daddy was a millionaire or you earned a 7-figure salary, we're probably not talking about you. While I'm sure that many on the right imagine the Greens as a bunch of long-haired hippies who only care about rescuing endangered butterflies, they have produced a solid tax policy to address inequality. They proposed a wealth tax on people with a net income above $10 million, excluding the family home. They reversed the tax cuts for landlords. The largest 0.7% of businesses would pay a 33% tax rate, and all other businesses would pay 28%. Economist, former trader, and man who looks like he should be auditioning for EastEnders, Gary Stevenson, claims our tax systems focus too heavily on income. His idea is simple. People who earn more money through assets should contribute more to the tax system. For most people, their money comes from working and paying income tax. That the very wealthy often make their money through assets, property, shares, businesses, and investments. And those assets can increase dramatically without the owner earning a conventional salary. Let's do some basic maths. So if someone owns $100 million worth of assets, and those assets increase in value by 10%, then their wealth is increased by $10 million. And it's not like that person did anything special to earn that money, like cure cancer or invent a new flavor of toffee pops. They just increased the value of their assets. By the same token, people who don't own a property face higher prices and higher rents, and consequently, it makes it more difficult for them to save money and enter the property market. So now we have a situation where existing wealth creates more wealth, while the people at the bottom without wealth continue to struggle and pay higher prices. That's something ordinary wages simply cannot replicate. One way to deal with this disparity was proposed by Gabriel Zucman, a French-American professor at the Paris School of Economics and an expert on tax havens. As income can be easy for rich people to hide, Zucman proposes an annual 2% wealth tax on individuals with assets over $100 million. Based on this, Elon Musk could cover the yearly operating expenses for USAID after all. Billionaires don't necessarily pay themselves a huge salary. Instead, they own companies, their shares increase in value, and they can borrow against their assets instead of selling them. A wealth tax approaches the problem differently. Instead of asking, how much taxable income did you receive, it asks, how much wealth do you own? The argument is that income tax alone isn't enough when individuals are generating enormous wealth through assets. We're all working hard to pay our fair share of taxes. Meanwhile, many of the world's wealthiest people are accumulating more and more assets and paying none or little to no taxes. Zucman makes another important point. Billionaires don't create their wealth in isolation. They rely on workers. Their businesses also rely on many government services. This includes roads, education, healthcare, electricity, infrastructure, banks, courts, and the legal system. So if society helps the very rich to make and maintain their fortunes, then it's not unreasonable for us to expect them to contribute more back. The media often try and scare us by saying that wealth taxes are some kind of reverse discrimination against millionaires and billionaires, and suggesting that they will leave in their private jets if we try and enact it. Despite claims from opponents of wealth taxes, there's little evidence to support the idea that introducing the wealth tax will cause the rich to flee en masse. For example, Switzerland's had a wealth tax for decades and remained one of the world's wealthiest countries. By taxing extreme wealth, we can curb the influence that a tiny group of ultra-wealthy individuals have on the media, markets, and political policy. The Greens want New Zealand to tax extreme wealth. Gary Stevenson argues that wealth, not income, is where the real inequity lies. And Gabriel Zucman thinks that billionaires should pay a minimum contribution based on the wealth they own. What do you think?